Hi guys, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Oh, watch your back, guys, watch your back. I'm going to actually start backwards, I think, in terms of chronology with the stuff that I've been doing the most recently, and that are these magnet doodles, which I've been having a lot of fun with because they seem somewhat impossible. And I like that about them, and also because they are all about unrequited relationships. You know, these magnets are just desperate to get together and stick together, and there's just this tiny little gossamer thread that's keeping them from fulfilling their desires. So it's very personal work, obviously. You can't touch the stuff, I'm afraid, but I can. So I'm going to touch some of the stuff and kind of show you how fun it is. I mean, I'm sure that Rich would say if you buy it, you can touch it. But I'll let Rich say that. So they're all just sort of hung together by magnets. And you know, they're not good for cell phones or pacemakers. But it's just a little thing on a gossamer thread. So that's what I've been doing more recently. The rest of the stuff that's up here is mostly sort of a look at what I've been doing over the last 2 decades. It comes in conjunction with a book that just came out called Don't Pigeonhole Me. And every year, and here's the book, thank you. Every year for the last 20 years, I put together a small sketchbook that I printed and in the beginning folded and stapled and gave to clients and friends and prospective clients. And it started out as a zine, and then I started working in animation. There was a production company called Curious Pictures, and they printed and published the sketchbooks for me in the spirit of contractual obligation. And then by the time that I didn't have to do these anymore, I realized how fun they were and how much I enjoy doing them. Because if I've got a year where I'm writing a lot of stories, I'll do stand-up gags. Or if I'm not able to write the type of stories I want to, I will create stories for these sketchbooks. The original Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus was one of these sketchbooks. It was given, I had an agent or a prospective agent. I gave her a bunch of things that I thought were good books. I said, okay, and I gave her this sketchbook, and I said, well, here's a little free gift just for spending the time reading my stuff. And she said, oh, I think that might be a book. So all of the mess that I'm in now is thanks to having made these things. I also have made my first hard reader. I've been making easy readers for many years. So one year the sketchbook was a hard reader for grown-ups to see how hard it was to read. I've got some really sick stuff in here as well that I'm very, very proud of, and some very, very personal stuff as well. So as you look on the walls, the earliest stuff I think is around here. These are sort of New Yorker type gags, and I say type because the New Yorker never published them. And there are more as it went on. And then on the back wall, I'm Fine was probably my first sort of personal, I'll give you back, book where I was having a really tough year, and then drawing with a brush the various things that I was going through and then coming up with the captions for them. And I really learned a lot about bookmaking making these sketchbooks. There are some real lazy day doodles when I first started just doodling for the fun of it and confident that those doodles were worthwhile, were worth showing. There's some NPR radio cartoons. I was a radio cartoonist briefly on All Things Considered. If you think that's a bad idea, you're right. I promise, I wanted to do it on Weekend Edition. I said I would do them in color for the Sunday, but they still didn't quite get it. Monsters in Underpants was a sketchbook. It was just a lot of drawings of monsters in underpants, which I enjoyed drawing quite a bit. It never became a picture book, but again, lots of monsters in underpants. Why not draw that? And I'd been reading a lot of field guides at the time because we moved to Connecticut. So this is a field guide to monsters in underpants as well. The pottery there, that is early. Some of that stuff is very early in my career, carving pieces of pottery that my father made. And this is how I made my living when I was trying to be a commercial artist. Most people are commercial artists and they're trying to make it into fine art. I was doing this for the Guggenheim Museum gift shop and some galleries. And I stopped doing that about 10 years ago. And the white ones that are in there are very recent because in the last decade, or even less time than that, my wife has become a really fabulous potter. And so now I can do this stuff again where I'm carving on my wife's pottery. So I'm very excited about that, and it's great to have her in the show as well. So that's sort of it. I mean, I hope that you enjoy them, and I hope that that you take pleasure in it, but I also hope that it engenders a desire to doodle, particularly those of you who don't do it professionally or compete with me in any way, shape, or form. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.